discussion, Tai Pan Part 2, there's a scene where the Tai Pan, Dirk Struan, sends somebody to intercept a ship that's coming from London. And the reason he's doing that is because he wants to read the mail. Now, clearly, in those times, in the 1850s or 40s, when this novel takes place, that's how information was traveling. It was traveling by ship. So you needed to know what's going on in the London market. You need to intercept a ship that was carrying news from London. Why London? Because London's the marketplace where everything is happening as far as the Tai Pan is concerned in terms of goods and services that need to be sold and bought. The value of this information is very high because as the novel goes, the Tai Pan learns about prices going up and down, tea is going up, molasses coming down, etc. And he therefore changes his orders and his shipping orders accordingly to book a profit. He says he probably has to, he made about 40,000 guineas just out of this piece of information. I think I want to use this little episode of the book to emphasize really two important things that relate to me especially in this particular novel. And very often we talk about books here in the Orange Capital Partners and in the podcast, in the Not Even a Podcast, which is a podcast that Orange Capital Partners is publishing. And the purpose of the podcast is to give people a sense of what it feels like to run a hedge fund. And I think this is really sort of the 101 of the investment business, right? You want to have information before the market has the information. Now, that has a couple of implications that I need to caveat. First, in today's markets, information has a legal binding. So there's information that you want to have and information that you don't want to have. The information you don't want to have is the kind of information that's called insider information, which, of course, we here at Orange Capital Partners stay away from, actively stay away from. This is something, as a fund manager, you need to actually manage. You need to be proactive against knowing inside information. So if you're in a situation where, let's say, you're meeting a person that can give you that kind of information, stay away from that person. And if for some reason they give you that information, definitely make sure you don't trade on that information. So this is an active duty. It's a little bit like, I don't know what the equivalent would be. If you're around a very attractive woman, you don't try to seduce her just because she's attractive. You actively try not to seduce her unless you're in the market for women and she's in the market for men, and so on and so forth. Sorry, maybe that wasn't the best example, but my point is, this is something you need to actively work towards. So inside information is off the charts. Now, there is information that is not off the charts, the kind of information that we are looking for as investors. And even though we are now almost 200 years forward, I think the investment business hasn't changed much. And the reason I'm so enamored by Tai Pan, and I was enamored by Tai Pan, by the way, even back in the day when I was in college, this was my dream, is to become a modern Tai Pan, a modern hedge fund manager, a modern trader. And I became that, and I thank God for that, and I also thank my wife for that, helped me to become that. That's another point. But what I'm trying to say here is that we're modern Tai Pans. All the big fund managers, everybody who's in this business is doing the same exact thing like Dirk Struan's doing in the novel Tai Pan, which is we're buying and selling things, we're speculating, we're taking risk. In the case of the Tai Pan, he's taking inventory risk, which means he has to buy goods and then ship them. That's inventory risk. You're dealing with, hedging opportunities such as insurance. Lloyd's Insurance in London was founded for these types of things. So there's all these thinking, or the thinking process is the same. What has changed, of course, is the substrate, the underlying investment. We're not trading in tea and molasses anymore. Sometimes we actually do. We do trade in commodities and currencies sometimes. But it's been a while that we haven't done it. The reason we haven't done it is because there's a new opportunity that has arisen in the last 10 years. And that opportunity is, technological breakthroughs, technological disruption. That's what we're trading. And then the way we're trading this is very similar to the Tai Pan. We try to anticipate information or intercept information. Now, we intercept it in legal ways, of course, by, for example, going to academic conferences. And we're anticipating a development that is most likely going to spill over into technology and entrepreneurship. So that's one of the big advantages that we have is that we are, number one, doing academic work. Second, where we have the patience to listen to these people. A lot of academics are kind of sidelined by the industry because they're just academics. They follow benchmarks that nobody cares about. They care about publishing papers, etc., etc. And a lot of that stuff is true. But in the end, they are the ones that are creating the kinds of information that is useful for us Tai Pans to actually trade on. In other words, if I see world models developing in a accelerated pace, like I see right now, I can anticipate that those world models will be used for embodied training, and that therefore I can see a physical agentic AI economy growing maybe in the next 2 to 3 years. And that kind of knowledge is worth a lot of money. You can put money at risk and hopefully reap the profits from that type of knowledge. So this is again, I want to use the book as an inspiration for people to understand. Not just we're not reading these books just for fun. This is really part of the business. And Tai Pan is a very good example because Tai Pan is written in a time when the British trading houses such as Jardine, Matheson, and Swire and those types of houses started to become very big in the Orient. And the same way we see ourselves becoming very big in this new land of AI and the virtual world, which is kind of almost like it's a new geography that we're conquering. And understanding information and information flows and where things are going based on information is really the crux of our business. I mean, not the crux, but that's what we do. And it's just I want to emphasize this. And in this particular scene, I think Clavell does a really good job in explaining what it means to be a Tai Pan. Now, of course, they're doing it in a way that today would be illegal by intercepting information, basically having inside information and withdrawing information from the market. What we always pride ourselves at Orange Capital Partners is that we like to trade on information that could be on the at the headline of any kind of financial newspaper or financial blog site or anywhere. Like, we're not trading on information that is secluded from the market. We're trading information that everybody has. Our value added is to be able to anticipate what that information actually means for future technological and entrepreneurial developments.